Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay, so the second task force I alluded to is the Tin Mage Task Force. Does anybody know who Tin Mage is?
He's a robot.
Midnight Club. Good answer.
Yes. So Tin Mage was one of the teams that, one of the Omega team members that went to the Richty homeworld, and he was lost. Still lost, actually. The guy that you see right there on the screen is actually Tin Mage Mark II. What happened was when they opened the time capsule, the Omega capsule, his schematics were in there. So they basically rebuilt Tin Mage. So he's a complete likeness. What he lacked, though, was the magical abilities of the original Tin Mage, and Lady Grey actually imbued some of her magic to him, but not quite the same as the original. So this is where, you know, Primal Earth kind of gets together and says, you know, we're done with this. We're going to take the fight to Praetorius just in case. And so this is where players get to battle all over Primal Earth, and then they go back to Neutropolis to kind of find out, you know, who's responsible for, who are the leaders of this attack and what's going on. So, should be pretty cool, you guys will take it. And it's, are you going to say it's amazing? Because it's amazing.
No, it's awesome.
Awesome. It's awesome and it's amazing. So what else we did with Praetoria is we included some zone events in issue 19. Zone events are things that we've done before in, you know, City of Heroes. But what we wanted to do was kind of, you know, add not quite the UI that we had with the Halloween event, but we wanted to add a little bit of UI so kind of give you guys an idea of what you're supposed to do. You're welcome. And so what we did is we were given some tools by the programmers which gave designers the ability to actually go into a zone and create their own events, whereas before all of our zone events had to be hard-coded by programmers, and designers just kind of gave them some feedback and did some of the more mission-y type work. But now that we've actually given the tools to do all this stuff ourselves, well, insanity ensues, of course. So one of the things that we've done is we've added some zone events to the 3 zones of Praetoria. And in Nova Praetoria, your starting zone, we've included the protests. So the citizens of Praetoria are not totally happy with what's going on with, you know, Emperor Cole and this utopia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what we've done is we've actually given you 2 avenues to explore in this zone event. You actually have 2 options. You can either, you know, dispel the riot and help the PPD, or you can actually side with the protesters and take out the PPD who are trying to stop them. And all of these zone events in Praetoria sort of follow that theme. Is you get to, hey, make a choice, because things are gray, shades of gray. So that's what's happening in Praetoria. In Imperial City, Syndicate has taken over Agile Corp. And this is one of those kind of battles where you can either help them or hinder them, it's up to you. And the culmination of the battle ends up on a really cool rooftop. And so that's going to be a lot of fun in Imperial City. And finally, we have The Great Escape, which is in Neutropolis. And this kind of centers around the ghouls who have sort of crawled out of the lab, and it's up to you to either A, subdue them and take them back and with the help of the PPD or on behalf of the PPD, or it's up to you to kind of find out, wait a second, there's like one ghoul who's a little bit different, and he's like the leader of the ghouls, and what's going on? There's something different going on there. So you kind of have to choose your side. You got to choose which one you're going to do. So there's a lot of replayability there. And the cool thing about these zone events are, depending on what your participation is in the event, your rewards are commensurate. So if you like go whole hog and go nuts on these, you get some pretty cool rewards. So
Yeah, I mean, because like one of the frustrating things.
there is no frustration in City of Heroes. It's all perfect.
When we originally introduced zone events, kind of like the Fires in Steel Canyon or the Giant Octopus in the Independence Court, Paladin, players could just do one action and get the same rewards as everybody else. And generally that reward was a badge or something
else.
And that didn't seem very heroic.
Dude, a badge is totally heroic. Badge of honor, right?
So,
You know.
I mean, again, we
yes,
always learn from what we've done in the past, and you know, moving forward, we wanted to make sure that when people are participating in these zone events, and some are really, well, again, I know it's going to be tiring when I say it, it's really cool. Some of the rewards are really nice, and it's replayable. It's not just like, oh, I just did that thing and I got my badge and I'm gone.
In fact, you will be incentivized to play them again because your reward will.
You will pay attention to those zone event messages, I tell you.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool too, because we do give you a little bit of background as to what's happening, so before you start, you're not just wandering and going, why do I need to participate in this? We do give the ability to kind of read up a really quick snippet of what's going on in each zone event, so you can kind of, choose what you're going to do before you do it. But wait, there's more. Hey, something I promised a while ago when I first became lead designer was, what? More content. So what we did was we introduced a lot of really cool missions, and with the Going Rogue system, the morality system, with Pretoria, we gave you just hundreds and hundreds of missions to kind of chew through. And what we wanted to make sure was that we actually follow up on that, because we introduced a really cool system with the tip missions and the morality missions, so we gave you more, and they span the levels 20 to 50, so you get a lot of love in each of the Legion level ranges. We also gave you some, if you're a Praetorian and you left Pretoria, for the 4 people that did decide to stay around, but everybody else that went out and ventured into Paragon City or the Rogue Isles, well, you get there and you're like, well, what do I do now? Well, these missions are for you. They kind of expand the story. I believe they're 20 to 29. And so they just kind of give you a little bit more information about what's the deal for Praetorians in Primal Earth. And also, for those of you who maybe, I can't imagine anybody here does not have the Going Rogue expansion, but okay, maybe 1 or 2 of you, I don't know. If you are a hero or villain, you are not left out in the cold. We actually gave you some love there as well. So the hero story arc kind of revolves around, it's like the mystery of the Metaport. The Metaporters are getting a systems upgrade because of this, potential Praetorian threat. But the citizens are a little bit up in arms because it's like, hey, how come these aren't being handed out to the general populace? What's up with that? So it's kind of up to you to kind of find out what the deal is and get to the bottom of it. But this particular story arc really kind of gives you one of those really tough choices as a hero, and it basically defines you as a hero. What is the sacrifice you're willing to make as a hero? And this is where those kind of shades of gray, not easy decisions come into play. For the villain story arc, you are actually contacted by a former member of the Legacy chain, and you get to find out about this Leviathan underneath the streets of Sharkhead Isle. And you get to find out what is the source of its power. In this particular mission, you find out really what it means to truly be an arc villain. So, go villains. Oh, but wait, a whole bunch of new mission maps, we introduced a bunch of new villain groups, and we introduced some new power sets. And what we traditionally do is we wait an issue and then we hand them to you. So for all you mission architects, you now have a lot more mission maps to play with, you have more villain groups to mess around with, and you've got 2 more power sets to use when you create your wonderful stories. Oh, hey, David.
Hey, let's start.
For any players, or for anybody in the room who isn't a player, the Mission Architect system is a system we introduced a couple years ago, where you can craft your own stories, you can create your own villains, contacts. So it's like, if you like our game, that's great, but if you want to create your own stories and level from 1 to 50 with your own stories, you have that ability to. Some supergroup members use that as a recruiting tool, say, hey, if you want to know the backstory of our supergroup or supervillain group, play the story arc. And they will take examples of supergroup members and populate it, or they'll, go crazy and say, hey, I want to make an Alice in Wonderland story arc, and they'll make the Red Queen a misunderstood person, and Alice, the villain. And players have a lot of fun with it, and it's really cool.
All right, alternate animations. Here's an art contribution for the issue. Our animation team created a number of new ways of kind of casting powers. And what we've done is gone back to all of the powers that Jess is about to list, all these primary and secondary powers, and added these new looks to many of the powers in each of these sets. So it also applies to obviously blasters, corruptors, and of course defenders and dominators as well. And in particular, what we're trying to do is find powers that have maybe a particular flavor. Like you're all used to this, you're all used to this. That kind of stuff is the sort of thing we're going to target to give you a new flavor. So maybe this doesn't fit your robot character. Well, now you have an option. Now you can shift it and look the way you really want to.